you a home grower looking for a little bit of help? Are you ready to learn as much as you can about your favorite hobby? The Homegrown Helpers brings you informative interviews from experienced growers that have taken the next steps in their journey and decided to help you grow top quality cannabis all in your home. Now welcome in our host, Rob Smith, along with this week's Homegrown Helper. And here we are with another amazing episode of the Homegrown Helpers. I am your host, Rob Smith, bringing you lots of practical grow advice from home growers around the world, just like you, that have tried and failed, and now we're bringing you the end result of all of those learning opportunities as I'm trying to correct my outlook on failure is, if I can help these growers spin it as learning opportunities, help you spin it as learning opportunities, I'm going to help me spin failure as a learning opportunity. So, fail fast and learn from your mistakes is something I'm all trying to get better at, and I think we all can try and get better at. So today on the show, we have Manuel from Hawaii. Manuel is all about teaching. Teach. He's actually on the side of the road walking to, I think it was an elementary school, to talk to kids about organic gardening practices. And, in Hawaii, they're very much about the earth and giving back to Mother Nature because, they're an island. They can't destroy their resources because they don't regenerate as quickly. They're not as plentiful as they are, and they cost a lot more money to ship there. So Manuel is currently all about sharing his knowledge and the acquired knowledge about all things with plants and organic soil and organic gardening. And he brings a little bit of that organic gardening in Hawaii knowledge to you in this episode. We also talk about his biggest learning opportunity, which, foreshadowing, leaping forward a little bit, is all about worms and butterflies, and you outdoor gardeners know all too well what I am talking about. And then we wrap things up with things to avoid in the garden, things for new growers to avoid in the garden. And again, this audio can get a little rough at times. I think I lose him a couple of times. He is walking on the side of the road, and it's Hawaii, so you will hear motorcycles whizzing by. It's all good. This guy took time out of his schedule and, just trying to cram in some extra knowledge and sharing that knowledge with you. So Manuel from Hawaii coming at you very soon. First up, I do need to tell you that in just a couple of days from when this goes live or now as you hear this, our doors to mygrowpass.com, the membership that Jordan over at Growcast and I put together to bring you higher education in the world of cannabis growing, along with discounts and giveaways and resources. We offer you guys a ton. I mean, it's a weekly podcast. It's a monthly resource. It's steep discounts from 15 of your favorite vendors. It's a quarterly giveaway that's valued at $6,000 now. I mean, the value is immense. We offer a couple different packages. Go check it out, mygrowpass.com. Membership is only open now until April 14th or 15th, I think, like 2 weeks into April. One of those days, we'll be shutting the doors, and you won't be able to get in for another couple of months after that. We don't like focusing on selling the program all that much, so that's why we only open it up, once every quarter or so. Mygrowpass.com. Also, our swag store is on sale from March 18th to the 20th. You can get 20% off. You can find that at thehomegrownhelpers.com/swag. And you can also find that at linktr.ee/growcast, which is our Instagram. Both mine, the Homegrown Helpers, and Jordan at Growcast. It's in our Instagram profiling. The last thing, what else? That's it. So mygrowpass.com, we're open. We'd love to have you on board. We love sharing our knowledge. We do a monthly AMA for our content only and our Bloom members. To get everything, get in on the Bloom level. That gets you the most entries. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to see you. Again, we're only open for probably another month here. So without further ado, let's kick it over to Manuel walking on the side of the road in Hawaii. And welcome to the show, everybody. We are back and rocking and rolling with a brand new approach to home grower cannabis education. On the line with me today, I have Manuel Diaz from the beautiful state of Hawaii, and he's going to help educate us on the legalities of cannabis in Hawaii and what it's like growing cannabis over there. Welcome to the show, Manuel. How are you today?
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to call home growers and spread good knowledge like this. So thank you, and I'm excited.
Awesome. That's what we're here. That's what we're all about here at the Homegrown Helpers and Growcast is kind of glorifying the home grower and giving them a little bit of spotlight. So consider this your opportunity to share the knowledge you've acquired about plants and specifically the cannabis plant. Because when we were talking before, it just sounds like you're very passionate about gardening, plants in general. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you discover that passion?
Again, my name is Manuel Diaz. I'm originally from Arizona. I've lived in Hawaii for 7 years now, and my relationship with plants maybe started 2 to 3 years ago. So I'm brand new to growing. I've only been growing cannabis for 2 years now, and before that, I didn't grow anything. My connection really started with actually growing fungus. So I wanted to grow my own pink oyster mushrooms and things. So when I went to farmers markets out here to find mushrooms of any kind to grow, there's like no mushrooms here in the farmers market. So I started with fungus, and if anyone has ever grown fungus, you know how difficult and patient you have to be. I didn't have that kind of patience. So it went to just another part of the plantae kingdom over to the angiosperms, where I kind of felt a little bit better. And when I started growing, it was just really one of those things where I just felt unsure, and I would just sow dirt. But excuse me, I would just sow dirt on it. Now I know, like, okay, it's soil, a little bit better mixtures, and always trying to learn better or learn more. Excuse me.
Awesome. So, but you're doing education about plants in Hawaii, and this has just been a passion for the last 3 years, and you're doing educational classes in elementary schools and stuff like that.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I always had a disconnect between like I'm a plant and like where my food came from. And in a little bit in my older years, I'm 29 years young now, but I grew up just in the middle of Arizona, like inner city, and a bunch of trouble, like the woes of the 90s. You hear the stories all the time, but I was never connected with plants. And I think that connection with plants, or at least like growing something, and I don't know, like we all know it now, like the feeling of watching our plants grow every single day, like it's different from just walking into someone's grow room and going, oh, this is on week 12. This looks cool. Versus when you walk in, you're like, oh my goodness, we're on week 12. I've watched this thing come through, you know, a little seedling. And that connection I never had. And I feel like that's something that I've always wanted. And once I started getting it, it's just like, yo, I want more of it, more of it. So the past 2 years have been, it might be small as far as, it might be small as far as time, but it's the money that is, the knowledge that has been impacted in the past 3 years. It's just been great because I can't get enough.
Well, that's really awesome, man. I gotta say, I wish more people were willing to kind of take that leap. You know, I don't want people out there, you know, trying to spread misinformation. So if you're going to hold classes, make sure that you've read a couple books and you're confident in your knowledge. But the only way that this plant and our movement is going to be destigmatized and, you know, reach the point where we all want it to be is through education. And it's going to be face-to-face contacts and building that relationship with somebody so that they trust you and they can come to you for guidance, whether it's growing or consumption. So that's really awesome, man. I'm really happy that you're putting yourself out there and trying to help spread the knowledge as much as you can. So, Manuel, can you talk a bit about your transition from like bottled nutrients and you hinted at, you know, the difference between dirt and soil. So get into your organic gardening practices there in Hawaii.
Okay, so my first time, of course, when I first started growing cannabis was, what do I do? What do I do? and you hit the ground running, you hit Google, and a lot of the times it's bottle nutrients, bottle nutrients, bottle nutrients. I used a couple very popular lines when I first started, and from the very beginning, I just felt a little, I don't want to say off because I feel like it's a little bit too harder of a word, but it's something just didn't feel okay with my gut. I was like, oh man, I'm mixing these. I feel like there's a better way. And the difference between dirt and soil is dirt is what you track in on your feet and what we kind of kick off before we go into someone's home. Whereas soil, that's, everywhere around us. Soil is where everything comes from. Soil is where our bodies will go back to. Soil is the medium for your plant growth. And it's one of those things where I'm now learning if I can feed the soil will feed the plant. And all I have to focus on is the soil, and the rest will take care of itself. I'm also kind of like a lazy grower. I really didn't see the need to take 2, maybe 3 days out of my week to water. Like if you're growing as a home grower here in Hawaii, you can grow 10 plants if you have your card. If you don't have a card and you kind of just don't get to use cannabis, it's for medical reasons only, and we're not rec yet. It did just get criminalized to 3 grams, so you can have up to 3 grams without jail time, and there still is a $130 fine, so keep that in mind. But I'm really lazy when it comes to growing. I didn't want to get bottled nutrients, and now my head is like, okay, I just want to grow really good soil, and the more knowledge that I'm figuring out through the classes that I'm taking in the plant biology and tropical ag department at school, the more that I'm figuring out, like, okay, my hunch or like my visceral feeling was right. Like, okay, I felt that there was a better, lazier way. And they're totally just, so through Growcast, I actually learned an incredible amount just by listening to some of the soil mechanics, or I believe Wolfman, he's the dude. So I'd be talking or I'd be listening, and a lot of the stuff was, feed the soil. And I think he said something about it too. He was like, yeah, I'm kind of just, I don't want to mix nutrients. Or someone said that on the show, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And it just kind of kicked off the organics a little bit more. I can't say that I'm like completely organic though, of course, because as far as like my brain knowledge goes, I don't know where like the bag soil I'm getting is from. And I don't know where, like, say if I take like a cutting, I don't know what my friend is using. So saying strictly organic, I probably can't say that, but I'm as close to organic as I can manage.
Right on. I would imagine with the luscious greens that grow down there in Hawaii, you have some really amazing native soil. Do you typically only grow outdoors and amend the soil, or do you grow indoors as well, Manuel?
Oh, so when I first started, of course, my brain was the same thing. I was like, oh, Hawaii soils? Yes. Everything grows here, right? Everything. And that is true. We have 27 whole joint glycosomes. Almost every single terrestrial life form can find their sweet spot to grow here. However, the soil is a little bit different. So you have a lot of oxford soils here. They're very old soils. They're really good to, as far as like sticking together, they're clay. So they're going to be very, very difficult for the roots to penetrate. And that's kind of where my knowledge put me down a little. I was like, oh yeah, backyard soil, fill up a whole pot. What's this perlite stuff? Nah, that doesn't need to be in there. And now that I know a little bit better, it's a good mixture in your soil that you have to have. It's maybe 30% clay that you want to have, 35 at the most. And the rest you really want, like for porosity, organic matter. And this is what blew my mind. Organic matter really only needs to be at around 5% in your mixture. I thought, organic matter, that's the fertilizer that needs to be maxed out, and unnecessary as far as like what I wanted to do. Being a lazy grower who I just want to fill up a pot, put in soil, and let the plant do its thing. So looking at backyard soils here in Hawaii, if you're living in like maybe a valley, like say Waianae Valley, or in like Waianae where they have like I think there's a farm out there that's fully organic, and they have vertisols. So it depends on where you live out here, because Hawaii, you're going to get about 11 different soil classes of the 12. And They say there's some spotted salt light out here, so there's a talk on like whether we have all of them or not. But the thing is growing in backyard soil here, it can be a good or a bad thing, depending on where you live, the farming practices before. And I would say just figuring out that spot, that ratio that works for you as a grower. And I'm still figuring mine out. So I still have some sort of like tie to the native soil. I still want to put like a little bit of clay in there just for my own like peace of mind sake. Oh yes, okay, cool. It has, something of Hawaii in it. But now I don't go like a full 15-gallon pot of just red clay. That was no good.
That's amazingly diverse soil, man. That is crazy. I have so many questions. Do you grow just outdoor and then like in fabric pots or whatever? Or do you grow indoor as well?
So I just started growing indoor. We're going to see how that goes. I've done a couple autoflowers indoor, and I've used this stuff called URBs because one of my friends gave it to me. It's just another microbial, and that one kind of worked okay. And microbials are what I'm like really trying to learn more about because I feel like that's just going to be another added benefit in organic gardening. But when it goes to like indoor, only maybe in like a small tent, I've grown some plants. Nothing too major. My partner in grow, he loves the reading of all the data. So like indoor is his jam. Whereas outdoor, that's more kind of like, all right, I feel like I'm an LST when we talk to my girls. Do you want me to trim you? No. Okay, I'm just hang out with you. Whereas indoor, I feel like my partner in grow, he really thrives because he likes the all the data that comes along with growing indoor, right, and having to have all your climate checked and all that stuff. Whereas me, my head just gets a little overwhelmed, and I'm just like, no, I'd rather just be outdoors.
Well, you're 1,000% right, but don't forget that the plant still needs you. The plant whisperer, even in an indoor setting. Like your partner can spend all the time and money dialing in the perfect environment and making sure there's no light leaks, yada, yada, yada. But, still don't be afraid to be that plant whisperer and talk sweet nothings to your ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, guys, today we have to thank our friends at the amazing Dr. Zymes. I know I only talked about them a couple of weeks ago, but right now I want to talk about them because we're giving away some of their product. We're giving away a pile of their product. It's an amazing amount. I don't even know all the details because I don't think at the time that I'm recording this that is all finalized, but head on over to growcastpodcast.com/giveaway or follow our Instagram bios links and enter into the amazing Dr. Zymes giveaway. We want you to get the IPM solution that they offer. It's a all natural, OMRI certified, kills soft-bodied insects, molds, mildews, simply spray it on your plant. No need to spray it off. Good from, seedling all the way through to harvest. Just a simply amazing product. We've watched this grow. We've been part of their growth. Really, really happy to see that growth. Their chief entomologist, Mary Beth Sanchez, has been on Growcast a couple times trying to bring you guys knowledge, and just really, really awesome group of people to work with. So head on over to drzymes.com. Use the code GROWCAST10, GROWCAST10 to save yourself 10%, while our members save 25%. So again, that is another perk of mygrowpass.com. You can save yourself an additional 15% on tons of grow products that you use every day. The amazing Dr. Zymes being just one of them. So drzymes.com, code GROWCAST10 for 10% off. Now, let's get back to this great interview with Manuel from Hawaii. So, Manuel, I asked on the intake form what's been the biggest failure, and it didn't dawn on me when I typed the question out, but it dawned on me when I started reading the responses. And I'm going to put a better spin on that. So, instead of what has been the biggest failure in your garden, tell us what your biggest chance for improvement or biggest learning opportunity, and then how you corrected for that in the future.
So I think my biggest area of opportunity would be indoor, would be focusing a little bit more on how I can go indoor and the opportunities that lie ahead in that sense. 'Cause with outdoor, I kind of, I don't know everything at all, but I know, like, okay, the path that I need to walk a little bit, figuring out soil mechanics, figuring out like what plants to grow on the grow season. That's talking to my other home growers in the area. But the area of opportunity is going to be that indoor because I feel such a pull away from it. There's a lot of me that goes, I don't want to go indoor because I feel like my mindset just goes, oh, it's got to be bottle nutrients, it's got to be this, got to be this. But, I can learn a little bit more, and I can learn that it doesn't necessarily have to be that. And I would say scrogging and light stress training. I've done it a little bit before in the past, but it's about being consistent and having that schedule. So indoor guaranteed as far as learning like how to do it, what feels the right way to me, and scrogging and LST would be the biggest areas of opportunity. How I'm going to get there is one through help with my grow partner and actually setting up and getting definitive on, the days of the week that we're meeting and really just having fun with science at this point. Because when you're putting down like the days and times, it does feel really, I don't know, just feels more impactful, just like running in the grow room, throw some water. And now I just want to make it just a part of our schedule. Like, hey, here's when we're meeting to water the plant. Here's what we're doing and recording data. Like, okay, this week we've seen a spike in height this much. So that way my brain can see, all right, there is a change. There is this. And we get that like acknowledgement feeling or that sense of, okay, accomplishment. And then if there is a mistake, especially the info that I've heard about indoor, it can be very fast, like turnaround as far as like seeing like what happens to the plant. And indoor, everything's controlled, like something can go wrong in like maybe 1 or 2 days, plants are like downward. Whereas outdoor, I can kind of watch a turn happen slowly. That makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. From an experienced indoor gardener, I don't think things change that much quicker inside. And I'd also, go back to the bottle nutrients. Like, you don't have to use bottle nutrients indoors. You can bring in organic soil right inside. We have a couple good partners of the show, Sohum Living Soils, and we're kicking off a partnership with Michigan Mix, M3 Swanson. So I did want you to talk about what you put down as your biggest failure here, Manuel, and I'll jog your memory. It was about the worms in an outdoor garden and the butterflies.
Yeah.
Can you kick us off with that story and then kind of lead into your typical IPM protocols?
Yeah, so my experience with budworms, oh my goodness, I'd never seen these things before. So picture just like your first time, like this is my first big grow, like what I call the big grow. 4 plants were in flower, 4 Bubba Cushes, and they were looking prime. I mean, these things were glowing. They had the frosted flaky trichomes that everybody loves. To me, it was just photogenic. Every single time I went out there, I wanted to do like a heel clicker. But one day, I'm seeing these butterflies kind of fly around, and as an outdoor beginner gardener, and any gardener should at least be doing, is checking the plants. And that's what I was doing. I was just, putting my nose everywhere, lifting some of the branches, making sure there was no powdery mildew, because I'd read that if like these touch each other, that it makes a microclimate. And so I was doing my thing, like just looking at the plant, and I moved like a nugget around, and this is the first time I've seen like something fall off, like you barely touch it, and the calyx or something just knocks off, and that's what happened. And below it was like this brown color, and it threw me off. Because whoa, wait a minute, like this is supposed to be green, like we're in a beautiful phase of flower, like this should be green. I don't know what's going on. And so dug a little deeper, and there's this little worm just cruising and crawling around. And I guess these worms, they eat, and then they seep out like the bud. It looks like a regular bud, but it's just brown. And then when I went further in detail, I realized, okay, I have a big, big problem. And there were worms everywhere. I thought it was 1 or 2. No, these things were everywhere. That day, I realized butterflies aren't as freaking pretty as I thought. I don't kill them when I see them, but I send them bad juju. I'm just like, you get out of here, butterfly. Because it hurt my heart.
Yep.
This is the first time that I cried in my garden, like because of like an issue like that happened with the plant. And most of the time, like if I cry, like it's gonna take like something like really funny, or it's gotta be like a really good movie. And this was just one of those things that just hit me in the heart. Like, ever been punched in the stomach before and you lose your wind?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It felt like that over the period of like the 30 minutes that I was out there just checking stuff. So nauseating and turning. But we look at it in hindsight and it's like, okay, now that just showed me what I wasn't doing as far as IPM control. Like, I wasn't using my EM1, wasn't using certain things, and I wasn't staying on it as far as that consistent schedule of 2-3 times a week, the whole time in bed. And that's where, like, I feel like I kind of fumbled up. And I was just letting the plant do its thing back then. I was like, yeah, I love you, plant. And that's totally fine. You can definitely do that. But when we're looking at like getting really good bud for medicine for myself to smoke and my other grow partner who's a card holder for him to burn, and you lose like all that time and like all the love that you put into the plant, it's just really, really, really gut wrenching and heartfelt. So I learned, getting a better microbial IPM schedule, or even just learning more about integrated pest management. And that can be without sprays. You can set up trap plants. I've learned back then. I didn't know anything about trap plants, trap gardens, or growing certain plants in companion with plants. And these motorcycles today, isn't it? But I didn't know anything about trap plants or how to divert negative pests away from the garden. But we learn, we cry, and I figured, my tears went to the backyard. Now my legit tears, sweat are in the plants. I haven't, sacrificed any blood to the plants yet, but if I don't get a big harvest soon,
This is a perfect opportunity for me to circle back around and just, you learn from that mistake. And that's why I asked the question, what's been the biggest failure? And I try to turn it around so that like, this is a learning opportunity. And I guarantee that after such a disaster that you will never let another butterfly or caterpillar poop all over your plants if you can prevent it.
Yeah.
So that's a good learning lesson for you and our audience. So thanks so much for sharing that. So, Manuel, I wanted to ask, what are some things for new growers to avoid in the garden?
So some new things, at least from my experience and my perspective, is don't believe backyard soil just because like something's growing really well back there that it's going to work. Go to a garden shop. Go talk to a gardener. And, do your due diligence, listen to some Growcast episodes, these home grower episodes, but also find the knowledge that pulls you. Stick to the good ratio of plants, just to remember that clay is only needed about 30%, organic matter 5%. You want your porosity and like a little bit of space. You can have that. I didn't do the math correctly. I have this shit like 60% out there, I think, but more like a little bit of minerals and space. So just figuring out your mix, and again, that's going to just talk to a gardener or to a plant store, or just look up some solid information that you can trust online. But don't just think that I'm going to take some soil right out of this pot of earth and it's going to work magically. Because it might. I don't know where you live, but what happened to me could happen to you, and it's just not good for the plant roots.
Cool. Well, we are just a few questions away from wrapping up this interview, and I just want to say thank you to Manuel for joining me today and dropping some knowledge about Hawaii cannabis gardening and giving us a taste of, life in Hawaii with the motorcycle zooming by and sirens in the background.
I'm so sorry.
Been some nice audio effects over there. So one more question for you, Manuel. What's your advice to new growers that are looking to increase the yield off of their limited plant counts? Because as home growers, we know we're all limited by plants. So what's the advice for getting the most out of those limited plant counts?
I would say topping. Definitely topping your plants and letting them grow a little bit faster that way. And really scrobbing. So screen of glean, like those two things should be used in combination. So topping your plants, scrogging, and I like to trim my girls, give them pull off leaves. But that's gonna, at least from what I've learned, that's going to differ based on your growing habits, your growing environment, and what it is, what you're growing. Some plants like to be trimmed more, so really just being in tune with your plants. So you're gonna just need to be out there a little bit more and make it fun. Make it a part of like the routine that you really wanna do, because it's one of the things that you're gonna have to be in there and do it. Especially if you're a home grower and you want to increase yield. Like we have to work with our plant and figure out what works best for the plant. So light strength training through spotting and talking.
Cool. That's solid advice. Thank you. Wait, I did have one more question. What's the growing season in Hawaii? Can you guys grow year round?
Yeah, so Hawaii is really cool. They only have 2 growing seasons. You have a short and a long season. So your short seasons, I've kind of learned okay, those are like the cold weather, more of the flowering for indica, and then the long season, that one you can grow like sativas, and that's going to be the summer months here. It's every summer besides the winter months.
Right.
But you can grow cannabis year round here. You just have to use supplemental lighting, and that's kind of what I do. Make sure that your plants, they're always going to be getting that 18-6. But the cool part about that is I've learned that the plants, they kind of know when they want to flip. So I've messed up sometimes growing and off season, but they'll make this weird turn. They'll start to give out the female hairs. They'll start to show their trait in pre-flower. And then okay, I can just flip it now because this is what the plant wants to do. So yeah, there's only 2 seasons out here. It's short and the long.
Well, most people only get one, man. So consider yourself lucky there.
Oh yeah, I'm saying another thing too is pests.
What about pests?
You want to figure out what pests are in your area and how to combat them without spraying. As least amount of spraying as possible.
Gotcha. Yep. All right. Any last bits of wisdom or advice that you'd like to share with our audience?
I guess just thank you all for listening. I appreciate you for what you do, and everyone in Growcast and our home growers. Thank you for just spreading knowledge and keeping the info going between growers. And I do apologize about all the background noise. I'm on my way to class, and I'm a walker, so you're hearing the beautiful nature sound of the city island.
That might also explain. There's a couple of times, and I'll do an intro about this, but as we close out, I think it's been clear to the audience that there's been some moments where we haven't been able to hear you very well. So I assume that's just kind of like as you're walking, service changes a little bit. So what class are you going to right now?
I'm headed to plant propagation, but I'm actually meeting some elementary school kids to give them a tour around the campus. I'm only going to give them a tour for an hour, so they're lucky they don't have to deal with me all day. But I'm giving them a tour from entrance to campus down to our HD TV Pro Center. Awesome.
Well, keep up that education, Manuel, and thanks so much for your time. And thanks, audience, for listening. Make sure you drop us a rating and review and let us know what you think of the new show format. We'll catch you later, and happy growing, everybody.